Howdy, 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 y'all. So, this is the Marble back on the YouTube. Um, so, in the last video, we had read Genesis, Bere'shiyth, chapter 30. And, there was a few things that were catching my eye, in this chapter. One was that, well, in the end of chapter 29, Leah started having some children. Three, I believe, at the time. And so Raquel, her sister, is getting jealous and or coveting, I guess you could say, in a sense. Um, but Genesis 30 starts off as when Raquel saw that she bore Yaakov no children. Raquel envied her sister and said unto Yaakov, Give me children, or else I die. And Yaakov's anger was kindled against Raquel, and she said, Am I in Elohim's stead, who has withheld you from the fruit of the womb? Kind of brings me back to what their Leah and Rivka's aunt did when she bore no children. Kind of seems like there's something going on there. But what did Rivka do? She had her man Yitzhak entreat of Yahuwah for her. So Yitzhak entreated Rivka, or Yahuwah, for Rivka, and Yahuwah was entreated of her. It says, it's like, maybe she should have done that instead of throwing a tissy fit and say she's gonna go off herself if she ain't gonna have any children. It wasn't Yaakov's decision for her to not have any children. He was probably trying. Anyway, it wasn't her decision. It was whether Yahuwah decides if we have children or not. And so, and children are a blessing, and they're not ours. We are stewards of them. They are all His, as we are all His as well. He was the one that created every fiber in our being in the womb and gave us the breath of life to be able to live, and has given every breath of life to us from this point to our conception. So keep that in mind whenever you're feeling down and in the dumps, because every day and every breath is a blessing. Yesterday is perished. It's no longer in existence. We can only learn from it. And tomorrow is never guaranteed. So we shouldn't worry about what we have going on for tomorrow, because it has enough worries of its own. And live for today, because that's what Yahuwah gave you. So, with that being said, maybe she should have did like what Auntie Rivka did and asked her man to entreat Yahuwah for her. This story might have turned around a little different, but this is how it went, and that's how I'm reading it. So, Yaakov's kind of pissed at her, like, hey, it's not my fault. Am I God that that I can give you children or not? And she said, well, why don't you hook up with my handmaid? And so he does. Oh, that's an idea. And so, and there becomes this battling between these two sisters. And whenever they can't have children, they're giving their handmaids to Yaakov to have as children, under their stead. So they thus, the 11 out of the 12 were born in this chapter, and because Benjamin has not been born yet. And so this is going on, and they're battling out, oh, I've got these sons, and they're naming each one of these sons according to what has happened. Like for Gad or God, however it's pronounced, it's a troop comes. God also means good fortune. So, and then they have Yissachar, and it's Elohim has given me my hire. Zebulon, Elohim has endued me with a good dowry. And so all of these sons, 11 sons were born, and Leah has a son, or a daughter, Dinah, or Dinah. And so, after that, it goes back and forth, between the two sisters, and the handmaids, and then Yaakov's ready to get out of Dodge, and he says to his uncle, "Hey, we're getting ready to head out. Give me my women and children, for whom I have served you, and let me go, for you know my service which I have done to you." And Laban's like, "Hey, hold on a second. Just wait here. If I've found grace in your eyes, let me stay here, and I'll hire you again." And he's like, "What do I have to offer for my family as an inheritance? I have nothing but them." And Laban says, "Appoint me your wages, name your price, and I'll give it to you." He's like, "I don't want anything, but if you'll do this one thing, then I shall serve you another such and such time." So he goes throughout his cattle and picks out very specified animals within the flocks and the herds of the sheep and the goats and whatnot. And there's the brown ones from the sheep, the speckled and streaked from the goats, and that are spotted. So he's getting all of the impure, the ones that aren't prized after, or highly wanted. So he's taking all the sickly ones, and those are becoming Yaakov's. And so this is his hire. And so when this happens, he decides to take a 3-day journey from his flock and separate them from his uncle's flock. And he's looking after both of them. And so he's got this idea in his head that to allow the stronger ones of the flock to conceive, allow the ones that are best for survivability to bear, whereas the weaker ones won't. And so this completely flipped the tables on Lavan's and his flocks, where the stronger ones became Yaakov's, and the weaker ones and feebler ones, it says, became Lavan, his uncle's. And so this is what's going on, and there's there's something that I'm still trying to figure out, like what's going on. Um, but when he goes to have his flock, Yaakov's flock, um, conceive, it says, and Yaakov took him rods of green poplar and of hazel and chestnut tree, and peeled white strakes in them, and made the white to appear which was in the rods. And he set the rods which had the peeled strakes before the flocks in the gutters in the watering troughs, when the flocks came to drink, that they should conceive when they came to drink. And the flocks conceived before the rods, and brought forth cattle ring-straked, speckled, and spotted. And so this, me, with me being having some livestock, this part has always interested me when I've read it and trying to think, what is this that's going on? So if anybody has some insight on that, I would love to know. Please share with me. I don't know if that's just something that you do and then toss it in there and this happens, or whether this was something that they knew as, oh yeah, you do this and this happens. Or if this was something that Yahweh had blessed Yaakov with. So it's always kind of made me curious to wonder. Anyway, so in the end of the chapter was that the feebler, the lesser strength animals, the weaker ones, became Lavan's cattle and herds, and the stronger became Yaakov's. And so this is the ending of the recap of Genesis chapter 30. Let's hit 31. And he heard the words of Lavan's sons, saying, Yaakov has taken away all that was our father's, and of that which was our father's has he gotten all his glory. And Yaakov beheld the countenance of Lavan, and behold, it was not towards him as before. And Yahweh said unto Yaakov, Return to the land of your fathers, and to your kindred, and I will be with you. And Yaakov sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field unto his flock, and said unto them, I see your countenance, your father's countenance, that it is not towards me as before, but the Elohim of my father has been with me. And ye know that with all my power I have served your father. And your father has deceived me, and changed my wages 10 times, but Elohim suffered him not to hurt me. If he said thus, the speckled shall be your wages, then all the cattle bore speckled. And if he said thus, the ring-straked shall be your hire, then bore all the cattle ring-straked. Thus Elohim has taken away the cattle of your father, and given them to me. And it came to pass at the time that the cattle conceived, that I lifted up my eyes, and saw in a dream, and behold, the rams leaped upon the cattle were ring-straked, speckled, and grizzled. And the angel of Elohim spoke unto me in a dream, saying, Yaakov. And I said, Here am I. And he said, Lift now up your eyes, and see all the rams which leap upon the cattle are ring-straked, speckled, and grizzled. For I have seen at all that Lavan does unto you. I am the Elohim of Beth-el, where you anointed the pillar, and where you vowed a vow unto me. Now arise, get you out of this land, and return unto the land of your kindred. And Rachel and Leah answered and said unto him, Is there not any portion or inheritance for us in our father's house? Are we not counted of him strangers? For he has sold us, and has quite devoured also our money. For all the riches which Elohim had taken from our father, that is ours, and our children. Now then, whatsoever Elohim has said unto you, do. Then Yaakov rose up and set his sons and women upon camels. And he carried away all his cattle and all his goods which he had gotten, the cattle of his getting which he had gotten in Padan Aram, for to go to Yitzhak his father in the land of Canaan. And Laban went to shear his sheep, and Rachel had stolen the teraphim that were her father's. And Yaakov stole away unawares to Laban the Arami, in that he told him not that he fled. So he fled with all that he had, and he rose up and passed over the river and set his face toward Mount Gilead. And it was told Laban on the third day that Yaakov was fled. And he took his brethren with him, and pursued after him 7 days' journey, and they overtook him in Mount Gilead. And Elohim came to Laban the Arami in a dream by night, and said unto him, Take heed that you speak not to Yaakov neither good nor bad. Then Laban overtook Yaakov. Now Yaakov had pitched his tent in the mount, and Laban with his brethren pitched in the mount of Gilead. And Laban said unto Yaakov, What have you done that you have stolen away unawares to me, and carried away my daughters as captives taken by the sword? Wherefore did you flee secretly, and steal away from me, and did not tell me that I might have sent you away with mirth, and with songs, and tabreth, and with harp? And have not suffered me to kiss my sons and daughters. You have now done foolishly so in doing. It is in the power of my hand to do you hurt. But the Elohim of your father spoke unto me yesternight, saying, Take heed that you speak not unto Yaakov neither good nor bad. And now take, though you would needs be gone, because you sore longed after your father's house. Yet wherefore have you stolen my gods? And Yaakov answered and said to Laban, Because I was afraid, for I said, Peradventure you would take by force your daughters from me. With whomsoever you find your gods, let him not live. Before our brethren, discern what is yours with me, and take it to you. For Yaakov knew not that Rachel had stolen them. And Laban went into Yaakov's tent, and into Leah's tent, and into the 2 maidservants' tents, but he found them not. And when he went out of Leah's tent, and entered into Rachel's tent, now Rachel had taken the images, and put them in the camel's furniture, and sat upon them. And Laban searched all the tent, but found them not. And when she said to her father, Let it not displease my lord, that I cannot rise up before you, for the custom of women is upon me. And he searched, but found not the images. And Yaakov was wroth, and chode with Laban. And Yaakov answered and said to Laban, What is my trespass? What is my sin, that you have so hotly pursued after me? Whereas you have searched all my stuff, what have you found of all your household stuff? Set it here before my brethren and your brethren, that they may judge between us both. This 20 years have I been with you. Your ewes and your goats have not cast their young, and the rams of your flock I have not eaten. That which was torn of beasts I brought not unto you. I bore the loss of it. Of my hand did you require it, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. Thus I was in the day, and drought consumed me, and the frost by night, and my sleep departed from my eyes. Thus have I been 20 years in your house. I served you 14 years for your 2 daughters, and 6 years for your cattle, and you have changed my wages 10 times. Except the Elohim of my father, the Elohim of Abraham, and the fear of Yitzhak had been with me, surely you had sent me away now empty. Elohim has seen my affliction and the labor of my hands, and rebuked you yesterday. And Laban answered and said unto Yaakov, These daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, and these cattle are my cattle, and all that you see is mine. And what can I do this day unto these my daughters, or unto their children which they have borne? Now therefore come, let us make a covenant, I and you, and let it be for a witness between me and you. And Yaakov took a stone, and set it up for a pillar. And Yaakov said unto his brethren, Gather stones. And they took stones, and made an heap, and they did eat there upon the heap. And Laban called it Yeger Sahudatha, but Yaakov called it Gilad. And Laban said, This heap is a witness between me and you this day. Therefore was the name of it called Gilad and Mitzpah, for he said, Yahweh, watch between me and you, when we are absent from one another, if you shall afflict my daughters, or if you shall take other women beside my daughters, no man is with us. See, Elohim is witness betwixt you and me. And Laban said to Yaakov, Behold this heap, and behold this pillar, which I have cast betwixt me and you. This heap be witness, and this pillar be witness, that I will not pass over this heap to you, and that you shall not pass over this heap and this pillar unto me for harm. The Elohim of Avram and the Elohim of Nahor, the Elohim of their father, judge betwixt us. And Yaakov swore by the fear of his father Yitzhak. Then Yaakov offered sacrifice upon the mount, and called his brethren to eat bread, and they did eat bread, and tarried all night in the mount. And early in the morning Laban rose up, and kissed his sons and his daughters, and blessed them, and Laban departed and returned unto his place. This concludes the chapter reading of Genesis, Bere'shiyth 31. I apologize for the split scene. I was interrupted by having to go back to work when I was reading on my lunch break. So, blessings, y'all. See you on the next one.